Very warm welcome, my dear students. And as you know that we are studying our unit number 11, If I Were You. We have already started and have done with some part, but there are very few students who have joined now. Let's wait for them also to join. Meanwhile, you may enjoy a video giving an animated information about the text. Would you like to watch it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So here
Yes,
it is. If you watch it and enjoy and try to get you know what is there about the text.
Hello. Who are you? I am pleased to see you. I am glad you're pleased to see me. I don't think you'll be pleased before long. You will soon stop being smart. I want to make you tell some things about you. Anything you like. I know all the answers. But please sit here. No more cleverness. We will have a nice little talk about yourself. Do you live here alone? And what if I don't answer? I think you have enough sense that you will not hurt yourself. Okay, do you have a car? Yes. That's better. So people often come here? Very rarely. Few people take the trouble to visit me. Since you know so much about me, please tell something about you. But don't be smart. I am smarter than you. Intruding into someone's cottage doesn't require smartness. I look like you. You know, I am a wanted criminal. I will kill you and live with your identity. That's why I have chosen you, for disguising myself. When you will know why I have come here, you will know my smartness. You will be surprised. What is your specialty in crime? My specialty is jewel robbery. I can live here for a while. You have not been invited here. You will not be here after some time. This is your big surprise. I am going to kill you. Why adding murder to your crimes? I have done murders before. They cannot hang me twice. But what will killing me give you? Freedom. Your face is same as of mine. After killing you, I can go anywhere as Gerard means you. In most melodramas, the villain is foolish enough to delay his killing long enough to be frustrated. Now I am really going to kill you now. Don't be fooled. You will hang for sure. If not as you, then as me. What? Why should I be hanged as you? You have not done any crime. It is your great surprise. Why I live here alone, in this lonely cottage. Why less people come to me? This is because I have answered with bullets. And police is still searching me. Yes. You are saying right. So now we are friends. Yes. Come with me. We will get into the car and go away. And if you do not believe me, then you can still kill me in the car. Okay, let's go. But don't be clever. I have hired a man on the road. He will tell us if he sees the police. Let's go. My man has called and said, police is after us. Let's go, hurry up. But why should I believe you? Oh, don't be fool. Think about yourself.
Yes, dear students, could you watch it well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think it has been done twice or thrice that we have understood the text well with the help of summary, with the help of introduction, and we have watched more videos giving more details about the text. If I were you, now let's continue with the text with the thorough explanation. This activity before you read has already been done. Then we understood about the scene that has been created, on the stage, because it is a drama, it is a play that you can also enact. You can see then how the intruder entered through the window with a gun, wearing a cap, and almost similar in height and in look to the another character. And who is another character, dear students? Can you share? Who is he?
The intruder.
No, the intruder is one main character. Who is the another? Wearing a
Gerard.
yes, very good. He is none but Gerard. Okay, then we came to know about the conversation going on between them. Gerard has been very funny and humorous all the time with him, just to distract his attention, the intruder's attention, so that he may get an opportunity and get away the gun that he was holding in his hand, right? But the intruder was also smart enough not to lose himself and be monitored by Gerard. So he was controlling him and was all the time threatening. And finally, he declared that he was going to kill Gerard and take his identity on so that he can live there in his place, being Gerard. Who told? The intruder. And finally, the conversation is going ahead. Gerard wanted to know more about, the intruder, but he did not share much details. But he simply told that he is good at robbing jewelry, and he also added that the car Gerard had would be a good help for him, like a dandy bus, a word used there, so that he can easily rob the jewelry and take it all away from there and can come back at such a remote place where Gerard is living all alone. Right? This place is far from the city and hardly few people go there to meet Gerard. And those details only the intruder is trying to collect so that he can easily, befool others and also the policeman that he is not the criminal but Mr. Gerard and is living there happily. Right? So let's see then what happens next. He told about his name. What is Gerard's? In fact, the name as he told here, Vincent Charles, right? Then he asked about if he knows driving a car. Gerard firstly told no, but the intruder threatened him, saying that he already knew much about Gerard. And then Gerard could not lie. He had to tell everything the truth. But again, he showed interest to know more about the intruder, saying that he has taken much efforts in collecting the information about Gerard. Then he should also share some more about himself, the intruder, right? And there we'll continue from here, where the intruder said, "My specialty is jewel robbery. Your car will do me a treat. It's certainly a dandy bus." Any query, dear students? Till here, you got it in detail? Understood, everyone?
So what do you mean by dandy?
Yes, dear Vaishnavi, that dandy bus, it's, an American word for the vehicle. In the vocabulary, before you read, there is a chart given where we have matched, the words and their meaning. Can you please refer to it?
Yes, sir.
Good. Akanksha, any doubt? Ankush, Arya,
No,
Aryan,
sir.
Avishkar,
sir.
the Gayatri, Gansham, Kushal, Nishant, Palak.
Sir.
Can we move ahead
No
then?
doubt, sir.
Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
We need
Yes,
to know
sir.
everything, what is going to happen next, but let's try to know more details as per the conversation given here between the intruder and Gerard. So Gerard says, "I'm afraid jewels are few and far between in the wilds of Essex." And when he showed interest, that he wanted to live there where Gerard was living. Then Gerard was little confused that he had not invited this intruder to come there, and how can he live? Then the intruder told that he is going to kill Gerard, and taking on his identity, he was going to live there, being Mr. Gerard, right? That is Vincent Charles, as the name Gerard has told, that is of him, right? Then the intruder says, so are the cops. And as you are telling that there are no jewelries nearby, but they are far away from here. Similarly, the intruder also adds, that is the reason that I want to live here. I don't want jewelry here, but I want that the policemen should not be able to reach this place. And so the cops are far from here. I can retire here nicely for a little while. And as nobody comes this area, nobody comes to visit you, to meet you and visit this place, I can, be relaxed here and live my life nicely for a little while. Then Gerard says, you mean to live with me? We are done with this, but let's move up quicker. A trifle sudden, isn't it? You have not been invited, intruder told. You won't be here long, so I did not trouble to ask. Gerard, what do you mean? Intruder says. This is your big surprise. I am going to kill you. Gerard says. A little harsh, isn't it? Intruder says with heavy sarcasm. Yeah, I'll be sorry to do it. I have taken a fancy to you, but it just got to be done. Even intruder agrees that it will be little harsh, to kill someone, but it makes no difference because after all, even if he is being sorry to do that, but he has to do, there is no other alternative than killing Mr. Gerard because he wants to take his identity and live there. Let's see what Gerard says. Why add murder to your other crimes? It's a grave step you are taking. And then he's trying to convince and trying to persuade his mind, saying that you are a jewelry robber. That's okay. You don't add any, you will be a criminal. You will be a murderer if you murder me. And you don't do that. It won't be good. And then the intruder says, I'm not taking it for fun. I have been hunted long enough. I am wanted for murder already. And they can't hang me twice. And then he says, the intruder, that this is the first time you are thinking that I'm going to murder. No, it's going to be the second time. Already the policemen are there in search of me, looking after for a proof, so that they can hang me once. But if I murder secondly, they won't hang me twice. And so it makes, no addition to my crimes because I have been doing all of them before also. Then Gerard says, you are planning to gratuitous double, so to speak. Admitted we have nothing to lose, but what you have to gain? Okay, I understood that you are not going to lose anything, by killing me. But what are you going to gain? What is the reason? What is your purpose? What will you gain after my murder? And then the intruder says, I have got freedom to gain. As for myself, I am a poor hunted rat. As Vincent Charles Gerard, I am free to go places and do nothing. I can eat well and sleep and without having to be ready to beat it at the sight of a cop. And there he says, what shall I gain? I'll gain freedom, complete freedom. As for myself, I am so poorly hunted rat, he says, because he has not yet got a good place where he could hide himself and the policeman may not reach. Wherever he is, he's always scared that there may policemen come and catch him anytime. So that kind of life he is living. And so he has called himself as a poor hunted rat. Right? Understanding, dear students? And he adds then that I won't be myself the criminal after I kill you, but I'll be Vincent Charles Gerard, a free man who can go any places, wherever, and eat well and sleep everything that he wants. And even the policeman won't be in search of him because he is not the criminal, but he is a man, Vincent Charles Gerard. And that's what I'm going to gain, the intruder says. Are you getting, dear students?
Yes, sir.
Like in class 8, if you remember, we have studied one story, if you remember, Jody's Fawn, right? Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Here
sir.
we had
Yes, sir.
a lot, but for the sake of human beings, should we kill the animals? Do you remember we had discussed it in detail? And finally, there were many controversial statements and there was a debate and argument, right? And here is now again a point that has been drawn to our notice, that one person is trying to kill another just for his sake, just to hide his identity being a criminal and live freely in the society and do the crimes. He wants to take identity of Vincent Charles Gerard, Mr. Gerard. Is he doing right? Do you think he will really get freedom?
No,
Do you
sir.
think he will really gain something out of it?
No, sir.
Okay, let's see what happens. In Hindi it is said, दूसरों के लिए खुदा हुआ हुआ खुद को ही ले डूब जाता है. Have you heard about it? Words may be
Yes,
different, but what I mean to say, if we are trying to get someone in trouble, we ourselves are there in trouble, right? If we wish good for others, in return you will get good. But if you wish bad for others, something evil, you will get in return the evil only, because your thoughts are turning from good to bad. Right, dear students? Are you getting it well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So this way, you have now understood the intention of the intruder to come there to visit that place and meet Mr. Gerard. Right? Let's see then what Gerard's opinion. What does he do? What attempts he is making in order to escape himself from the intruder? Gerard says, in most melodramas, the villain is foolish enough to delay his killing long enough to be frustrated. You are much luckier. And Gerard adds that it happens in most of these movies. You must have also come across that the villain is foolish enough. They are full, and they delay his killing long enough. They think that nobody will catch them. It may never happen that they will be caught and they will be arrested. They always think, and they are foolish. Here, Mr. Gerard says, and it has been there in many of these novels, fictions, plays, dramas, movies we have come across. Do you agree that many people,
Yes, sir.
those who had thought that they may be live longer and there won't be death for them? Even yesterday we have just observed and celebrated the Shera. So it was about Ravan. Ravana was the person who was thinking that there won't be any person who may be able to kill him. And so he was doing anything, whatever he wanted. And he never thought of good and bad, right? And he simply went on doing those things. And finally, there came a good person, Lord Rama, incarnation, and finally killed him, right? And number of examples, thousands of examples you must have coming across, right, dear students? Do you agree? So aren't they full and foolish that they say that they are doing wrong, but nobody is there to see them? Nobody will be able to catch them. Nobody will be able to defeat them. Are you getting it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Good. And here Mr. Gerard says, you are much luckier. What do you think? He says to the intruder as, you are much luckier. What do you understand from this statement? So simple. The intruder had been a criminal for many years. It had just not been a month or few days. But he has been a criminal and had been robbing the jewelries, and he also told that he had murdered someone. But still, he says he has not been caught by the police. And the policemen have always been unsuccessful in catching him red-handed. And so, dear students, here Mr. Gerard says, you are much luckier that enough time has passed, but you have not yet been caught, right? Now you understood? What does he mean to say? You are much luckier?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes.
Pratham, if you can mute yourself, dear, it would be better. Good boy. Fine. So, let's see then what the intruder says. I'm okay. I have got a reason for everything. I'm going to be Vincent Charles Gerard. See, I have got to know what he talks like. Now I know that pushed up comes easy. This is Mr. V.C. Gerard speaking. Pantomime of phoning in imitation cultured wise, and that's not at all. He stands up, get up a minute. Gerard stands. Now take a look at me. And the intruder is least bothered about him, whatever he was saying, that he will be caught, and the criminals have always been so full, the villains, He gave all his lecture, but it did not affect the intruder at all. But he's just thinking about the way, Mr. Gerard speaking, his style of speaking, his body language, his body posture, the way he's sitting, the posture, he understood and observing very keenly. And he got to know finally the way Vincent Charles Gerard speaks. And he just now trying to imitate, copy, mimic the another character, Mr. Gerard. And he himself is saying now, hello, Mr. V.C. Gerard here. In a cultured manner of speaking, as you know about Mr. Gerard, that he was a playwright, that way, pretending as if he is not the intruder, but as if he were Mr. Gerard. That way he's, he's trying to practice to be Mr. Gerard. And that's why, dear students, the title of this play is If I Were You. Getting it, dear students? Understanding how he's trying to pretend, and then Mr. Gerard also stood up and said something. What is it? Let's see. Gerard says, you are not particularly decorative. Intruder says, no, well, that goes for you too. I have only got to wear specs and I will be enough like you to get away with it. And then he says that, the intruder was wearing a spec, but Mr. Gerard did not. And he said that you are looking more decorative. You are not particularly decorative, in the sense he had been Mr. whatever. It did not tell us his name, but we know that he's just the character with the name Intruder, as we know. And he's saying that you are not particularly decorative. Then what did the intruder say? No, well, that goes for you too. Means you are also not particularly decorative, and so I am not. And so this way, I am able to manage with me being like Mr. Gerard. And I have only got to wear specs, and I'll be enough like you to get away with it. And that way, he's trying to understand the way he wore the spec and the way he is taking out it and getting away with that, and all, the facial expressions, body language, use of hands while he's speaking, everything he is observing and trying to understand everything about Mr. Gerard. Then what does he say? What about your clothes? They will let you down if you are not careful. And finally, Gerard is also helping him. In fact, he is not, but he just pretends that he is going to be very useful and helpful to him till he practice and be good enough being like Mr. Gerard. So the intruder says, that's will be right. Yours will fit me fine. And he said that the clothes you are wearing, they are not like me. And so you need to be careful about it. And the intruder adds, yes, after you will be no more, because I'm going to kill you. I'm going to use your own clothes and they will fit me very well. And there I need not to worry about it. Right? And the intruder says, that will be all right. Yours will fit me fine. Gerard says, that is extremely interesting. But you seem to miss the point of my remark. I said, you are luckier than most melodramatic villains. It was not a tribute to your intelligence. You won't kill me for a very good reason. And again, Gerard came to the point that he had mentioned that you have been, or you were luckier than any other villains, because it has taken and it has passed much time that you are still there, and the policemen have not yet been successful in catching you red-handed, and they have not yet arrested you, right? But I have not, admired, praised you. I wanted to something. It was my remark, the sarcastical remark. Sarcastic remarks are, we try to say something, and it means exactly what we mean to say. The literal meaning says something, but in fact, the actual meaning is exactly opposite to that. For example, if I want to say that you are not a clever boy, but if I'm saying sarcastically, what a clever boy you are, right? So the words seem to be same in both the sentences, but they mean differently. So such kinds of sarcastical statement here Mr. Gerard had made, saying that you are luckier than most melodramatic villains. But here intruder could not understand, and so he wanted more explanation about it. And so he says, what does he say? Let's listen. Intruder says, so that's what you think, Gerard? You will let me go, and thank God you didn't shoot me sooner. And this way the intruder also agrees that, okay, if you are understanding, me that I'm not going to kill you for any reason, but there is a reason. But Gerard misunderstood it. How? That he thought the way he had dealt with the intruder, he was really impressed and he wanted him forever there with him in the same room. But it was not right what the intruder wanted to say. It was something different. What did he mean to say? Let's listen to him only. The intruder says, "Come on, what's on your mind? Better be quick. This conversation bores me." And he finally says, "Whatever you are saying, it doesn't affect me all. And I'm not getting your points. You are just saying something and you mean to say something. You please don't use that language with me. Tell me, being very straightforward, what you mean to say. And this conversation, that you are boring me and I may kill you immediately. Can't you see a gun in my hand?" And he's trying to threaten Mr. Gerard, the intruder. Gerard says, "Your idea is to elude the police by killing me and taking on my identity?" And he just confirmed that you said that you want to kill me, take on my identity, and live freely, being Mr. Gerard. That's what you mean to say? The intruder says, "Yes, I like the idea, and that's my idea. You got the point." That way the intruder says. Then Gerard is now making another story in order to befool the intruder. How does he befool? Let's see. Gerard says, "But are you sure it's going to help you?" But he's again and again going to just confirm and trying to confuse and make him believe in what Mr. Gerard says. And so he has emphasis and has repeated and wanted confirmation again and again from the intruder that is he sure that he will definitely be able to live freely after he kills him? Then what does the intruder say? Let's listen to him. Intruder says, "Now listen here. I have got this all planned. I did a job in a town. Things went wrong and I killed a cop. Since then, I have done nothing but dodge." And finally, he has told, "You don't bore me again asking such kinds of questions. Listen to me very carefully now. I have robbed, the jewelries and I have been a criminal all the time. But there it happened that I was about to be caught red-handed by the police. And so I had to kill one of the policemen. And I did. But since then, I have done nothing, no crime at all. But I'm just trying to find a place where I can hide myself and continue with my business." You know what is his business? Can anyone share? Yes, dear Palak?
Steal.
Yes, robbing jewelry. That's what he has been doing. But it happened finally that he killed one of the policemen. Fine. And since then, he did nothing. But he's just trying to search a place where he could hide himself and live his life little freely. And that's what he has finally come to the conclusion with a plan that he's going to kill Mr. Gerard, take on his identity, and live there in his place, being Mr. Gerard. But is he going to be successful in that? Let's continue so that you will understand it in a better way. Gerard says, "And this is where dodging has brought you. And finally, in search of that place, the safe place, you have come here, right?" Then the intruder says, "It brought me to Aylesbury. That's where I saw you in the car. Two other people saw you and started to talk. I listened. It looks like you are a bit queer, kind of a mystery man. And there, in one of the places, I was there in search of a place where I could hide myself. But there, I saw you in a car. You were there, and two other people. They pointed at you and started talking. And what they told about you that I overheard. And what was it? That you are a kind of mystery man. Means you are hardly seen outside. You are there all alone at one place. And I followed you. I chased you. And finally got this place where I can dodge myself. And the policemen will never be able to find me. And after all, I'm going to take on your identity and live freely. That's what my plan is." The intruder told him everything now. The way Mr. Gerard has made him speak and get to know everything. Isn't he smart, dear students? Mr. Gerard, without losing his confidence, without being scared, seeing a gun in a man's hand, he showed here presence of mind. Right? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Do you remember the story? Last year, I remember I had shared with you about the driver of Albert Einstein. He had also shown a presence of mind. Do you remember, or shall I repeat? No comments. Nishant, Pranav, Madhura, Ajnandini, what do you say? Okay, I'll repeat. As you have already studied more about Albert Einstein, you know how he finally became successful person, how he invented E is equal to mc square, the theory of relativity, and how it contributed a lot in the science, right? And there, after that, you know, after the world war ended, he wanted to contribute, you know, a lot for the society, for the people. And there he had written a letter to the president of America, the then, Franklin Roosevelt. And you know, after the little boy and fat man, the bombs were blasted in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the cities, and that was the end. He was very much overwhelmed, to see the destruction made by the science, and felt very sad for that. And so he started visiting different places in different countries across the world. And he had to travel all the time from one place to another, and was delivering his lectures and was trying to convince the people how the world wars will be affecting the world, and that will be the end of this earth. So in politics also he contributed. And so that time the driver, he used to listen to him very carefully all the time. And after some days or months or years passed, he told one day, Dr. Einstein, you are telling the same stories everywhere. There is nothing, new that you are telling. Einstein said, okay then, you deliver the same speech, that you have been listening to me for years. And the driver agreed. And he went on the stage because it was a little remote place. Nobody had ever seen. And there was only a print media available, not electronic media that the uh, sessions were broadcasted live. And so the people had never seen him. It was the first time Albert had visited that place. And being Albert, the driver went there and started his speech. He delivered finally, and there was a good round of applause by the people. Everybody, they were very happy to see Albert Einstein. In fact, that he was not Albert himself, but the driver was there. Then there was a session, question answer session. At the end, it is there. And some people wanted to ask him some questions. Many people asked their questions. He answered them perfectly. But now he wanted to play a trick. Who? Albert Einstein, the real one, who was sitting in place of driver and or just listening to his driver, who was there being Albert, was delivering the lecture and was answering the questions asked by the people. He wrote a question on a paper, handed it over to one of the people from there present, and it was finally handed over to so-called, not real. In fact, he was the driver, but to Albert Einstein, for the people he was, right? Then he read a question, the driver. He found that the question was very tough and it was never ever discussed. Then what to do? What do you think, dear students? What should he have done, the driver? Should he have told the people that he is not Albert?
No, he might have make up an answer.
He, do you think he must have tried some or the other way just to try the answers in different way? Because he was knowing that people may understand or not the answer.
Sir, I think I have heard this story.
Yes,
Sir,
that's what
he
I was
said
saying.
that his driver
No,
I
also
also
can
said.
answer this question, and then Albert
very good.
Einstein
Now
only
you
answered
remember.
the
Good.
question.
Okay, good. And finally, dear students, there the driver showed a presence of mind. And what he did? Hey, so simple question. I don't want to spend my time for just this simple question. Even my driver will answer this question. And he calls upon there on the stage the driver. But who was he? Was he a driver? No.
Albert Einstein.
He was a real
No.
Albert Einstein. And there he came and answered the question. So, sometimes in our life, it is always required that we should show presence of mind, right? And the way here, Mr. Gerard is showing, that's really, fantastic way he's showing. And even if he is in danger, he knows that if a single mistake made by him may endanger him for his own life, he's going to lose his life for a single mistake, right? And still, he's trying to manage the intruder and trying to find a chance that he can capture him and put him in a cupboard or get him arrested by the policeman. So is he successful in that? That's a really interesting story. Can we proceed, dear students, with the next part? Next page. This is
Yes, sir.
page number 140.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. A mystery which I propose to explain, and there Gerard says, and made a story that there is also mystery. As you are telling that I am a kind of mystery man, would you like to hear that mystery about me? Then the intruder said, disregarding him, you phone your orders and sometimes you go away suddenly and come back just the same. Those are just the things I want to do. Hearing about you was one of my luckiest breaks. And what is there? There is no mystery. You are just, make a phone call sometimes and you are just going away and suddenly and coming back some other time. That's the mystery about you that I have heard. There is nothing different. But the Gerard, the another character says, what does he say? Let's listen to him carefully now. Apparently, you have not the intelligence to ask why I am invested in this cloak of mystery. And hey, the intruder, you are thinking that you are very smarter, but you are not. You are thinking that you are more intelligent, but you are not, because you everyone did not dare to ask the next question, that what was that mystery in fact? Why was he doing like that? All of a sudden he was calling somebody and was going away and then coming back some other time without any record being maintained. So what was that mystery? You did not ask those two people, those who are talking about me. Intruder says, preparing to shoot, and he's just now showing that he's going to shoot him. Being prepared. What he said? Let's see. As I said before, this conversation bores me. And he's now telling the same thing. You don't tell me and don't make up any stories. I don't want to listen to you at all. You are boring me much. I have listened to you for longer, and here the time has come that I'm going to shoot you. Gerard says, don't be a fool. If you shoot, you will be hanged for sure. If not as yourself, then as Vincent Charles Gerard. And then, he disclosed the mystery. In fact, it was not the mystery, but he has made some other story. He said that you are being fooled by killing me. Even if you don't kill me, you are going to be shot down by the policeman and will be hanged for sure. But if you kill me, for sure you are going to be hanged. If not being the intruder, because here his name is not mentioned, but of course being Vincent Charles Gerard. And now there a question is there in the intruder's mind. What is this? And then the Gerard says, this is your big surprise. As there was a surprise for Gerard with intruder, here there is a surprise for the intruder with Gerard. And what is that surprise? Would you like to know? Or does anybody know about it? Can anyone share, dear students? Yes? Don't know? Okay, let's listen to Mr. Gerard only, that there is a surprise for the intruder. What is it? Let's see. I said you wouldn't kill me and I was right. Why do you think I'm here today and gone tomorrow? Never see threats, people. You say my habits would suit you? You are a crook. Do you think I'm a Sunday school teacher? The game's up as far as I'm concerned. Things went wrong with me. I said it with bullets and got away. Unfortunately, they got one of my men and found things the police should have burned. Tonight, I'm expecting trouble. My bag's packed, ready to clear off. There it is. And he made a story and told, do you think I'm a tradespeople or am I a Sunday school teacher? Do you think? No, I'm also a criminal. My name is there in the record of the policemen and they are badly in search of me. And I got to know from my man that they have got in, unfortunately, that they are going to raid this place tonight. And so, can you see? My bag is packed. I'm just ready to clear from here off. There it is, the bag. Can't you see? At the time you have come, I was just packing my bag. That's why I'm telling, dear. Intruder, Mr. Again trying to know his name, that if you are not going to be hanged as the intruder, but for sure you will be hanged as Vincent Charles Gerard. And that way he has now completely confused the intruder. He is not understanding because he found his plan completely failing. There was a great failure in his life that he had seen ever. Then the intruder says, "It's a bag, all right, and this is a gun, all right. What's all this?" And he is being confused. There is a bag, this is a gun. What to do? What to do? Like that, He's making humor here, and it's showing how he has been confused completely and is unable to take the decision. Gerard says, "That's a disguise outfit, false mustache, what not? Now do you believe me?" And Gerard then adds, "See, I want to disguise myself being some other person. There are some false mustache with me, and that way I'm going to leave this place and the policemen won't be able to find me. Do you believe me now? See, everything is there." He is showing. In Hindi it is said na, "Hath kangan ko har se kya." In Sanskrit also it is said, "Here is Jayadratha and here is the sun." What does it mean? That there is no proof required for the things that you can see with your eyes before you. And so here, Mr. Gerard has tried to befool the intruder, and he is finally going to be successful or not. That's the interesting story. Isn't it, dear students? What do you say? Adit, Kushal, Sanskruti, Saili, many of you are present here.
Yes,
So
sir.
please make the session interactive. Are you getting it well? Understanding?
Yes,
You got the
sir.
substance there? Now?
Yes,
What
sir.
happened next?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Let's proceed then.
Sir.
Intruder says musingly, "I don't know." Gerard says, "For God's sake, clear that mudded head of yours and let's go. Come with me in the car. I can use you. If you find it's a frame, you have got me in the car and you have still got your gun." And there Gerard says, "Don't waste your time, dear. I'm there with you. You are there with your gun. We will both travel together in a car. And if you find that I'm misleading you, misguiding you, and taking you some other places, you can shoot me at any time because there is a gun with you and there is a car. Let's move ahead and let's get off from this place so that the policemen won't be able to catch both of us. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm also a criminal, and of course you are there, and the policemen are already in search of both of us. So let's move." And then the intruder says, "Maybe you are right." And then finally, Gerard was successful in convincing him that he was right. Then don't waste time, goes and picks up hat and bag. And also Mr. Gerard picks his hat and bag up, and they are both about to leave. Then what does the intruder say? "Careful, boss, I'm watching you." And the intruder is still, sure, careful. And he is warning him that he should also be careful because there is a gun in his hand. And at any moment, if he tries to do something wrong and try to, betray the intruder, he is going to shoot him at all. Then Mr. Gerard says, "I have got a man posted on the main road. He will ring up if he sees the police, but I don't want to leave." Telephone bell rings. "Come on, they are after us. Through here straight to the garage." And finally, he says that, "Don't worry, dear. We'll hurry. We'll go quickly, immediately. But there is a man who is waiting on the roadways, and I have told him that if he comes across the police vehicle, police van, or the policeman coming on the way, he should immediately ring him so that he can move some other way and hide in the forest somewhere." And at the time he was telling this, there rings the bell of telephone. And so he again told the intruder to quick, "Come on, they are after us, through here straight to the garage." And they wanted from the back door that leads towards the garage to escape from. Then the intruder says, "How do I know that you are telling the truth?" But he's still again confused. Firstly, he said, "Maybe you are right," that way, he's just confused. He had many questions and he had to finally believe in Mr. Gerard. Gerard says, "Oh, don't be a fool. Look for yourself." And then he says, "You are being a fool. I'm leaving. If you are coming or not, I don't care. there may policemen come. Just the telephone is ringing, and it must be from my man who has been there waiting on the roadways, and he must have seen those policemen coming towards us. Let's move quickly. Don't be a fool. Look for yourself. And that way, Gerard warns him, and then you can see here what happens. I would like someone to read the description given there in a bracket. So here is Sanskruti. Dear, can you read? Yes, Sanskruti. Surbhi, can you dear? It is there on your screen, just given in the bracket. After Gerard says, "Oh, don't be a fool. Look for yourself." What is given there? Vaishnavi, would you like to read?
Yes, sir.
Please, over to you.
How do
Gerard
I know
opens
that
door. No, Gerard opens
Gerard
door and slips away.
intruder leans forward to inspect it with his sight towards Gerard, but
With the revolver ready, as he turns his head, Gerard gives
with
him a
the
push
revolver
into
ready.
the cupboard,
As he turns his
knocking the
head,
revolver out of his
Gerard
hand. Over to you, dear Vaishnavi.
he slams the door. He slams the door and locks it, picks up the revolver and goes to the phone, where he stands with the gun pointed at the cupboard door.
Very good. And so you have watched in a video also the way he manages to push him in a cupboard, saying that it is a door of the garage, but wasn't it? No, it was not. In fact, it was a door of a cupboard where he simply pushed him inside and locked from outside,
Cupboard.
right? And that way he managed to have the gun with him and the intruder inside the cupboard locked. And there he went to the telephone and called the police. What does he say? And the intruder also is shouting. What is he saying? Let's see. The intruder says, rattles door and shouts, let me out of here, let me out of here. That way he's just shouting and making sound and rattling the door, but of no use, right? Then Gerard says, hello, yes, speaking. Sorry, I can't let you have the props in time for rehearsal. I have had a spot of bother, quite amusing. I think I'll put it in my next play. Listen, can you tell our friend the surgeon to come up here at once? You will probably find him in the public bar. Douglas James. And he's speaking on the phone, not saying anything to the intruder because he has already been locked in. And the communication, now he is a playwright, Mr. Gerard, who wanted to provide and supply the props for the play, but he could not. And he had mentioned, if you remember in the beginning itself, that he will be there within 10 minutes. And more than 10 minutes had passed, and so he received a call back from the same person. And then he said to him and apologized for not being able to be there on time because he was really in one trouble. You know what was the trouble. And he also mentioned that trouble as quite amusing, right? Yes, it is. And so he wanted, the same story to be framed in the form of play and be presented in the theater. And that we are reading, dear students, here. And finally, he conveyed the message that the policeman, the surgeon should come here and he can be found in the public bar and come here and catch, the criminal, the intruder, red-handed there. Fine. Was it interesting, dear students?
Yes, sir.
Do you like it?
Yes, sir.
You please also read it as
Yes,
many
sir.
times as possible and also listen to the text. The link have already been shared with you, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll also share with you the questions and their answers. You please write as and when possible. Any queries, any doubts? I'll also share one more link where you will find all of these sessions recorded, on YouTube and also on Google Drive so that you can download them from Google Drive and watch them on YouTube. Okay. Is that enough for today?
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes,
doubts,
sir.
any queries? Want to share something? Want
Yes,
to
sir.
ask?
No, sir.
Okay. That's it for today. Thank you so much, dear students. Have a great day ahead. Take care. Bye.
Sir, bye,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.